Hey guys, what's going on? Robert Montes here with Link Financial Advisory. We're focused on helping you win with money. This week we are going back to the subject of inflation. I've been trying so hard to get away from talking about this, but it's just what everybody is talking about. Every report I'm reading, it's inflation. It's inflation. All the various managers that we look at. And so the question that I get a lot, and I'm still getting it from clients, is what's happening with inflation? Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? I wish I had the exact answer, but as I'm seeing from provider to provider, every week giving 1 week a reason why it's getting better, 1 week a reason why it's getting worse, it's a really hard thing to figure out. So let's look at what's kind of been going on recently. Last week we saw indexes showing that factory input costs were way down. So the lowest they've been, I think, since October of 2011, which is really good. That means that things are costing less. We can get more things out there. Hopefully that drives prices down. But then what we're seeing now from the CPI is that we're seeing things like the cost of used vehicles going sky high again, or excuse me, new and used vehicles. The new vehicle costs are spilling over to the used vehicles, and so that has been a huge contributor to the a little over 7% year over year inflation we've seen. And so what's going to happen? I don't really know. I wish I did. A lot of it's going to depend on what's going on with Omicron. Obviously, we've seen there's been a big spike in cases. Again, that affects the workforce. People stay home. It can lead to supply chain issues. That's a big thing. But if Omicron ends up not having a huge effect on our population, that could easily just kind of be a blip. We could roll right through it, and here we are back to seeing inflation go down. So what I'll leave you guys with is this. I don't think there's an answer to what's happening with inflation right now, at least definitively. So let's look at what are the best ways to combat inflation. Historically, they're being invested in the market and owning real estate. And this could be hard because if you're not invested in the market, you don't own real estate, you could be sitting here thinking, man, things are horrible. But if you have any type of investments that are, invested in those asset classes, yeah, inflation's no great. No, it's not great, but your assets are growing substantially still. So I would say for everyone right now, meet with your advisor, someone that you trust, and talk about a plan. If you have a goals-based plan, it's a lot easier to stick to something versus jumping just because of what may or may not be happening right now with a given subject, such as inflation. I would definitely encourage people with that goals-based plan to lean into having as much equity exposure as they're comfortable with. Of course, there's risk with that, but we really need to make sure for a long-term view that you're not sitting on the sideline with money in cash. That's when inflation's 7% year over year and you've got a savings account that's paying under 1%, you may never be losing money, but you're always losing purchasing power, and that's a big consideration. So I'm not saying make big changes. Please meet with an advisor first. Talk to someone you really trust about that. Get good advice. If you would like to reach out or like to talk to an advisor, feel free to reach out to myself or to Grayson Vukasin. Both of us, we are meeting with clients every week and helping them put together plans to make sure that they're on pace to really accomplish what's important to them. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for taking time, and hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you and goodbye.